screenplays that I've seen coming up. You want to go ahead and tell your listeners about that too?
Well, yeah, I did shoot, one of my first music videos, and it was shot for one of the big homies here in Milwaukee. His name is Jacob. He's doing his thing as far as music goes. We went to high school together, and he asked me to be a part of the video Black Girl, and we shot that, and it was fun because it wasn't one of those videos, where I'm just, shaking all over the place. I got to really act and be fun. It turned out really great. So that's out there, and I did do another video, which, Payroll, the squad out here in Milwaukee, Be Easy, all of them, I did a video for them, and in there I was, doing my eye candy video girl thing, getting my sexy on. That video will be coming soon. But on the flip side of things, as far as film and acting goes, we just wrapped my film, which I have my first producer's credit on, titled The Bad Girl. So shouts out to Dirty Job Films, Ross and Glenn and Dave and everyone. We shot that. It took us a couple of months to get everything together, but it's now wrapped. So now we're editing it, and we have a sales guy who wants to take it to Cannes and, market it out there for us coming up this May and see if anyone will be interested in picking up the film and taking it further. And the other film that I did prior to that, Petty Cash, the movie, I was a part of that cast, and we shot and debuted that in 2010 at the Milwaukee Art Museum, where we did a screening of it, and it got rave reviews. It really well. And it took some time to negotiate everything, but everything came through. We had someone who wanted to pick it up, but it's actually overseas being sold and shown. So over there in the markets of Europe, it's doing this thing over there. Not sure when it's going to come out over here, but, my name is getting out overseas, so.
And don't worry, as long as you're part of the Tone Deaf family, we're going to do whatever we need to do to get that movie here, real talk. We're going to have it in some theater somewhere doing something ignorant, but it's going to get shown. Real
so
talk.
I definitely just want to say, because a lot of people don't understand the business side of everything, and I'm still learning everything, but we see it as a consumer. It's like, okay, when is it coming out? You got to understand there's contracts involved. There's trying to get movies sold, get sponsors behind it. So while it may take no time to film it, after it's filmed and it's edited, now, unless you're a big budget film or you're going to fund everything out of your own pocket, which a lot of people, believe it or not, don't have can't do that. So they look for sponsors, they trying to get deals, and it's contracts involved. It's a business at the end of the day. So once that is all worked out, then the film comes out.
Oh, okay.
That's how
well,
it goes for the industry.
Go ahead and definitely let them know there. Now, with that being said, now we got a little bit more information about, Nene, as I call her. Let's go ahead. Let's get back to the topic at hand in regards to this.
And
definitely.
I want to say, one of the main things that causes people to go back to their ex, and it's not because they miss them so much or they're still so in love with them. It's because they see their ex has moved on and they see them with someone else.
And
it's that whole thing of, I don't want you, but I can't stand to see you with somebody else, so I want you back.
I've always thought that was greedy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. Especially if you're the reason why they left. I do have several of my closest friends who have recently, confided to me. People turned to Tone. For a long time, I was known as Dr. Tone because everybody came to me for advice in regards to everything. But one of the big things that they used to come to me about was they wanted to move on. Okay? They didn't ask me to help them break up with the person. They wanted to move on. How to move on. But the problem was the ex wouldn't let them go. Baby daddies, baby mamas have this very bad these days to the point that some people won't even date a person if they have children. Simply because the child's mother or child's father tends to make this person's life difficult to even move on. To me, that's very selfish. That's very selfish. Yes. And the sad part about it is they may have moved on already. Okay? Mm-hmm. Especially if you've broken up because you cheated on her with somebody else, but now she wants to move on with her life, and you get upset about that. Okay? Exactly. That is one thing that I can never understand why to do that, except when you've made a mistake, especially in that situation. Now, if, someone moved on because they relocated, and then they came back. That's a different story. See, because
Exactly.
now you have to earn her back, and some women like that. Some women like the fact that they have two men chasing them, knowing that they're torn in between. But then there's the ones who, oh, I'm gone, I'm wrong, I'm not good for you, but I'll be damned if I let you be with somebody else. You
Right.
know, you create these stalker, these violent relationship, these I'm gonna slash your tire, I'm gonna play on the girl's phone type people. You know, these are the people that honestly need to be dragged to Nebraska, locked in a cage, and shot.
And that goes into these other group of people who that they have this syndrome of the grass is always greener on the other side, as the wise people will say. And you have people, because I've experienced this myself coming up and dating and whatnot, where the person will break up with you, and it'll be some silly reason a lot of times, it's not you, it's me, you've heard that before type of thing, or we just need a break, and just for you to find out that they're out here and they're dating such and such, they're over there. And they're out there and they're, so-and-so, they may think the person is physically more attractive, or maybe that person is doing more for them sexually or taking care of them, whatever the case may be. Then they get over there and they find out that 80 is really a 20, and then they want to come back. That happens.
That happens
so
a
many
lot.
times.
That is the number one reason, in my opinion, why relationships break up. Is because you are not satisfied, or your curiosity really wants you to find out what's going on with somebody else. I was actually watching a movie last night. I cannot think of the name of the movie at the current moment in time. It actually had Jason Weaver in it. It had it had Darwin's baby mama from The Game in it, and they were dating. She actually went to this website where a girl is actually like a relationship killer. Okay? Her whole thing is she will go to these guys, okay, at the cost of the girlfriend, and try to see if he's going to cheat on her. Okay? And this actually, I found out to be a very funny concept, because if you're enticing the person, of course you're going to get these results that you are purposely looking for. But if you just leave your situation alone, work on making your situation better, and stop worrying about what you think that person is doing, you won't have any issues. Your current person won't be an ex. It'll be your one and only then. But people don't look at it from that type of perspective. Like, if you have somebody, see what you can do to make this work. Now, they're doing something that's not within what you want, then you talk to that person. Don't go to get outside help. Stop assuming that every man is a dog. That's the number one thing I hate to hear. I hate when my younger sisters used to say that all the time. All these men are dogs. Every man is a dog. Man is a dog. A dog, a dog, a dog. Well, if you think every man is a dog, then don't be surprised when he calls you a bitch. Don't be surprised when he calls you a bitch, because you are putting him on a pedestal that he is trash for no reason. You're not giving him a chance. Or the one thing I hate the most is there's no good men out there. Well, if you keep degrading every man, of course they're not going to look good for you. They're not going to be a good man, because they're not going to want to deal with that mess. So you're going to be single. You're going to be team celibate by force, not by design.
And I honestly don't get where that mentality comes from. Yeah, it women say it all the time, and I just wonder, like, where did this even start? Who started saying this? All men are no good. Or here's the thing: all men cheat. Just expect for your man to cheat if you to be to deal with it. There's just mentalities like that, and you got these girls growing up in households where the women think like that, so then she's taught to think like that. So she goes out here and she automatically has this mindset that the man is no good, or the man just wants sex from her, he's going to use her, he's going to play her. So, of course, the man doesn't even have a chance to prove and show himself.
Correct.
He's giving grief right out the gate.
Right.
And it's hell to reprogram that. Once a woman's mind is like that, it's hell to reprogram it, to get her, thinking on a more clean slate, giving somebody a chance.
To defend the mentality of some of those women, it does come from the fact that they're basing it on previous relationships. They
Yes,
tend to
very
take
true.
their problems from their previous relationship and drag it into each relationship. That's where their thought is. If their first relationship they ever had did not end positively, their thought process in regards to almost every relationship from there on out is going to be negative. And in most cases, a woman's first relationship is a relationship with their father. So based on the representation of what their male figures in their life is, then that's how they're going to perceive every man out there. If your daddy was a cheater, if your daddy was a rolling stone, your mindset would be all men are rolling stones. All men are going to cheat. How do I know? I've seen my first boyfriend do it. Now, if you have a dad that takes care of home, he's there, he loves your mom, or even if they're not together, he still treats you like his one and only, then you'll have the mentality that there are good men out there. There are great men out there because I know they exist because my dad is one. You know? So a lot of times this mentality does come from home. Everybody's mentality comes from home. But their first real relationship usually determines their staying power on that thought process. So if they go into a relationship, especially young girls, usually you start dating in high school. And of course, I don't know why people don't grasp this concept in high school. Relationships are not going to last past high school.
It's very, very rare and few that people start out in high school and last past it. The numbers are not high. It happens, but they're not high numbers.
They're not high. They're not enough to scratch the surface because I do know some people that got married right after high school and they're still together. You know, then I got those who still got married after high school, but 3 years later, y'all went y'all separate ways, you know. But in high school, people cheat because you're not really knowing about love. You're riding off of infatuation. So you cheat. But then high school is a prime example of people who go back. You know, oh, you know, he was with such and such in, you know, third period. 2 weeks later, oh, I still love him. I want him back. So, you know, that naiveness is really funny. But, I mean, going back to your ex, even though Dewan clearly said, no, don't do it, sometimes, some situations, it makes sense. If you are willing to accept the fact that mistakes were made, it's a learning curve, we can grow because you complete me emotionally, physically, spiritually, and sexually, then let's try to make this work. So that's cool. But if they don't give you one of those four, you left for a reason. And
exactly.
You need to keep it that way.
And, you know, every relationship has their deal breakers, and it's really hard to really break down what those really are because it's going to vary depending on the person, depending on the couple. Because, like you stated, the breakup could have been very minor. It could have been a minor miscommunication issue.
Correct.
You know, or it could have been, as you stated, a person bringing in baggage from a previous relationship, and the person is totally innocent, but they're so messed up in the head and emotionally because of what they experienced before. They just,
Correct.
You know, the person didn't really stand a chance. Stuff like that can be worked out.
It can
so it
be
really
worked
just
out.
Depends.
But definitely the emotional baggage one is the hardest one to work through, simply because the other person has to know and understand they're bringing baggage in. If you're not knowing that you're bringing these problems from past relationships into your new relationship, you'll never be able to get past that.
And I would say, from a personal experience, I you know, it's one of those things where I didn't realize I was dragging baggage until I just really sat down and thought about it, and I was dragging baggage for 6 years after a breakup because I was so, you know, one of the person he was pretty much like my first love, and so we were inseparable. Of course, everything he said, I believed it, you know, and then, of course, you know, find out there was another woman involved, and I was extremely devastated behind that, you know, but I didn't realize at the time how hurt and affected I really was. But every time I would start talking to someone new, all I kept thinking in the back of my head is, you ain't no good. You gonna cheat just like he did.
Right.
I don't believe anything you say. And it just kept going on and going on. it's just one of those songs that's set up in church, and the pastor is speaking about relationships